All right. So, what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're new here, I'll introduce myself briefly. My name's Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, out here filming this video in Budapest, Hungary. Today is November 4th, 2023. This is the daily live stream, which we do on this channel, where I come and chop it up with the people for about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe even longer, depending how the conversation goes. We have the conversation on the chat. This is still a very ghetto live stream and a very ghetto channel. But yeah, come and jump in the comment section. I'll be responding to all comments. Super thanks are very much appreciated. I want to send a special shout out to my guy Avery Adams for the very first how can I say comment super chat. So that was a super chat he sent in a comment on my video. So that was very much appreciated. And I don't come on this channel begging for money or begging people to do anything, because I come in here honestly to just talk with y'all, build with y'all, and that sort of stuff. I'll only be here for maybe an hour because my wife and I are going to see that new Leonardo and Martin Scorsese film right after this live stream. We're going to see Killers of the Flower Moon. Do not put spoilers in the comments. If you put a spoiler in the comment, I will block your ass immediately. Immediately. But anyway, let's get to it for today. Today, we're going to be talking about a very serious topic. And I want to say this first and foremost. As a man, as a black man, right? Uh, and especially as a bald black man, I don't have a lot of, how can I say this? Um, oh, there's what's the word that's missing here? I feel like I don't have a lot of authority to be able to talk about this topic as a person who has not had their hair for a long time, and as a person who has not had to live life as a woman, right? But today we're going to be talking about black women and their hair, and how the relaxers that some black women are using are causing negative health side effects. Now, for people who don't know, people who aren't familiar with black hair, of course, it's very kinky and curly and that sort of stuff. And we can do a lot of different styles with our hair. And it's actually a blessing from God that we do have this certain sort of hair texture that allows us to do so many different things that other groups of people can't do with it. We can do braids, we can do locks, we can do all sorts of different stuff with it. And there's nothing wrong, I would say, inherently with a black person deciding to do things with their hair outside of its natural form, in my opinion. Honestly, I think whatever you decide to do with your hair to make you feel better, to make you feel more attractive, or just to experiment, that's your personal choice, honestly. But that. We cannot divorce the fact that, honestly, a lot of black people style their hair in certain ways for the white gaze, to appease white people or to fit into white society, right? We live in a world where, unfortunately, the white aesthetic is what's considered the ideal, and many of us try to get closer to that ideal by bleaching our hair different colors, by straightening it, by putting extensions in, weave and that sort of stuff, by relaxing our hair. This is something that has happened because of the systematic white supremacy that has infected our minds and made us feel like the closer in proximity we are to whiteness, the better and more appealing we are. There have been many cases, and I've spoken about this on my channel, of schools discriminating against black kids for having their hair in natural styles that are not just simply low cut Caesars or fades and stuff like that. I remember when I was growing up in Louisiana, it's against the law to do this, and it's against their own code in Louisiana to do this, like the school board code. But yeah, growing up in Monroe, Louisiana, than having a low cut, even an afro to a certain extent, they would tell you to cut it, violating our First Amendment rights and our civil rights and that sort of stuff. It's absolutely not fair. And of course, there have been many instances of black men and women in the corporate world just going about lives trying to do their jobs, and their bosses tell them, hey, you can't come to the office with dreads or locks or certain types of styles and that sort of stuff. So that's why many of our people try to assimilate and try to copy and mimic what the others do with their hair. And this is a picture of a beautiful sister right here who has her hair relaxed, and she looks good with it, of course. But obviously, we have to consider, as a people, who are we trying to look good for, and why are we running from our natural appearance? Do you get what I'm saying? Because too many of our sisters, too many of our brothers find this style more appealing than if this sister had locks or braids or just let her afro grow and that sort of stuff. So we really need to be mindful of how we present ourselves in the world, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying this in a in a way that we need to go full on like how they did in the 70s with the big afros and the black power fists and that sort of stuff. But I think, when we think about how we present our hair, let's be mindful that our ancestors were told that they were ugly for having afros, that they were nasty for wearing headscarves and that sort of stuff. And so now, oh, we have relaxed hair now, that's supposed to seem more appealing and more attractive. And so relaxers are sold everywhere across the world, especially in the US. I think we were the first country actually to invent it. Black American women were the first to actually try to style like this because we were living under brutal white supremacy. And now these products are everywhere. I find this picture hilarious of this white woman with a hair bonnet. That's just hilarious here. But yeah, it's not hard to find hair relaxer products. This is in Amazon in the EU, and they are sold everywhere, and they're relatively cheap. 9 pounds for hair relaxers, that sort of stuff. The creams are everywhere. Yeah. And as a black man, and I didn't have a sister, I only have a brother, but I didn't grow up, with my sister getting the hot comb in her hair or putting relaxers on and this sort of stuff. I did see these products growing up at my cousin's house. So my I went to Alabama to visit my aunts and uncles, and at my cousin's house, who I have female cousins, right? They used to relax their hair, and I used to see products like this in the bathroom. So Greg Mack jumped into the comment. He says, "What up, Simon? The snap-on wig looks horrible. All she's missing is a chin strap." Wow, Greg Mack with the roast. Hey, man. Hey, she's a beautiful sister, man. This is not a channel where I will ever bash black women. I love black women, and I have nothing negative to say about black women. But maybe you just don't like her hair. But Greg Mack, let's try to keep, the massage noir down. You get what I'm saying? Like we're never gonna bash black women on this channel. We love our sisters, and black women go through some of the worst forms of white supremacy, racism, violence, and that sort of stuff. So as black men, we should be here to protect our sisters. You get what I'm saying? So let's get into our article for today. Thousands of black women claim hair relaxers gave them cancer. This is a picture of Sheila Bush. Sheila Bush poses for a picture in her living room holding a photo of herself during her cancer treatment in St. Louis, Missouri. Bush filed a lawsuit against cosmetic companies after a study showed an association between hair relaxers and uterine cancer risk. Wow, that's horrible. I mean, I'm sorry, Miss Sheila, that you're going through that. One of the beautiful things about being black, especially black women can look good bald. You know what I mean? Black men are some of the only men who can actually pull off the bald look and still look attractive, sexy, and that sort of stuff. And I think the same applies to black women as well. Jada Pinkett is getting a lot of heat right now, but Jada Pinkett still looks good. Let's keep it real. Besides her being a bit older, Jada Pinkett had the low cuts back in like the 90s and the early 2000s. Was Jada Pinkett not one of the hottest women? Halle Berry had the low cut. If Halle Berry went bald, we would still think she's sexy. A lot of black women can pull off the bald look. But yet and still, we have to remember that they shouldn't have to lose their hair just because they want to fit a white ideal. This is the problem. A lot of our sisters, in order to fit a white ideal, they are literally killing themselves. And this is a bigger problem about white supremacy. As black people exist in this world, a lot of us do things that actually hurt us physically, emotionally, psychologically to live and exist in a world that tells us that we are not good enough and we need to assimilate more to what is considered the norm. Anyway, this article was written by Mike Spector, Richa Naidu, and Christina Cook, published on November 4th, 2023 for Reuters.com. Sheila Bush, a cosmetologist, was lounging in the recliner at her St. Louis area home last winter when an advertisement from a law firm flashed up on her television screen, urging viewers to call a toll-free number if they or a loved one had used hair relaxers and been diagnosed with uterine cancer. After seeing the ad 3 times, Bush, who said she had used hair relaxers every 6 weeks for most of her life and was diagnosed with uterine cancer about a decade ago, decided to pick up the phone. The ads Bush saw on television, as well as on her social media feeds, were part of a nationwide effort by law firms to sign up black women to file lawsuits alleging at least a dozen cosmetic companies, including L'Oreal and Revlon, sold hair relaxers containing chemicals that increase the risk of developing uterine cancer. and failed to warn customers. So yeah, absolutely, I'm on board with taking L'Oreal, Revlon, all these companies that sell cosmetics to black women that they possibly knew killed them. Take them to court, take them for everything they got, because these companies have been abusing our people for a long time. Dove, L'Oreal, a lot of these same companies, they sell whitening products all across the world. As I've been traveling, I've seen whitening soap, whitening lotions, whitening creams sold by these same companies in the US that say they're all about diversity and inclusion and about uh, creating products for all shades and different sorts of people. Yeah, take L'Oreal, Revlon, take them down to the court for killing our people with these harmful products, right? And advertising these products to our people. All right, the recruitment campaign launched in October last year, days after a U.S. National Institutes of Health (NIH) study found an association, though not a causal link, between frequent use of chemical hair relaxers and uterine cancer. Hair straighteners such as L'Oreal Dark and Lovely and Revlon's Cream of Nature are marketed overwhelmingly to women of color, according to the lawsuits. Some of the ads show black women applying hair products before cutting to a summary of the NIH study's findings. L'Oreal and Revlon told Reuters their products are subject to rigorous safety reviews. The companies noted that the authors of the NIH study said they didn't draw definitive conclusions about the cause of the women's cancers and that more research is warranted. Well, while we still need to do the research and find the causal link, if putting chemicals that can burn the scalp or cause your naturally 4C hair to straighten, I think it kind of goes without saying, putting anything that powerful on your body topically or internally is going to cause some negative effects. I mean, we find the negative correlation between eating McDonald's and eating Burger King. Of course, there's going to be a negative correlation between putting burning chemicals in your hair that fry your naturally frizzy, God given hair. Of course, they're probably going to have some negative effects. And even if they don't have negative physiological effects, of course, they're going to have negative psychological effects, because black women spend billions of dollars on cosmetics every year, on hair products every year, just to fit a white ideal. It affects the minds of black women. It affects the minds of the others who look at our women. And also it affects the black men who interact and deal with these sorts of women as well. If growing up, my mother had relaxed hair sometimes. And unfortunately, my mother has lost her hair due to frequent chemical use. So me and my mother share the same haircut. And this is a problem because my mother had naturally beautiful 4C hair. And as a woman her age, there's no reason for her not to have her hair. But constant chemical use of trying to fit into a white ideal has caused my own mother to lose her own hair. And I hope my mother does not develop uterine cancer or any other of these terrible diseases that can be caused or linked to these products. You get what I'm saying? It's absolutely horrible. And if you have a story like that, you should share it as well. And we should, once again, it's hard for me to tell people what to do with their hair or to say that black women shouldn't straighten their hair or put relaxers in it, because for a lot of black women it's life or death, right? Like, damn, do I want this corporate job? I studied all this time to be a lawyer, but can I go in there with the afro? Can I go in there with my dreads? Can I go in there with micro braids and stuff like that? They're not going to accept me in the corporate world. I don't want to limit my possibilities. Those are the things that they have to weigh as black women. And me as a black man, especially as somebody who benefits from patriarchy, and of course, I don't have my hair. My hairline is back like Akon's. You get what I'm saying? Who am I to talk? Who am I to talk and tell somebody not to do it? But I have to say, come on, can we actually try to do better as a people, to not hurt ourselves so much just to fit an ideal for people who naturally hate us? You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to play any commercials or any of the videos here because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but I'm going to continue reading. We do not believe that science supports a link to cancer, Revlon said. L'Oreal added that it is committed to offering the best products for all skin and hair types, all genders, all identities, all cultures, all ages, and that its hair relaxers have a rich heritage and history, originating with Black inventors and entrepreneurs. Uh, so I'm going to jump into the comments. Kushner jumped in and said 100. Absolutely, man. I'm trying to, just keep it absolutely real while still being respectful to my black sisters. I mean, I love black women, and I don't want this video to come across as me attacking black women. I'm attacking the mentality that's been put into our people, where we look at ourselves and say we hate our hair, we hate what's naturally within us. We have to spend thousands of dollars yearly just to straighten our hair, to look like the white ideal, or to look like we are non-threatening black people. So I don't want this video or anything I say in here to seem like I'm attacking black women at all. You get what I'm saying? So let's go here. Namaste, which markets ORS olive oil relaxers, said all ingredients in its products are approved for cosmetic use by U.S. regulators. We do not believe the plaintiffs have shown or will be able to show that the use of Namaste hair relaxer products caused the injuries that they allege in their complaints. A lawyer for Namaste and its parent company, Dabur India, said in an email response to Reuters. Oh, wow. The Indians making money off black women. See, this is the thing, man. All these other groups of people profit off of us, profit off of our insecurities. They profit off of the self-hate that we have within ourselves. The Indians, Namaste. I should have known this was an Indian company as soon as I said Namaste, because I was like, ain't no white person going to name their company Namaste. Anyway, yeah, all these other groups profit off of us. Billions of dollars are made off of black women and the insecurities that have been put into them by this white supremacist world. There are companies that literally go down to places like Bolivia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and cut off their hair, and then they sell it in the US to black women to then put in as extensions. Same in India as well, and other places around the world. These companies make chemical products that burn through the scalp and kill our women and give them uterine cancer. Then when and if you've been in America, you know this for a fact. Most of the time, if you go to the black cosmetic store, who is behind the counter? Who is behind the counter? Is it black men? Is it black women? Do they own the businesses? Hell no. You'll find a Chinese, you'll find an Arab, you'll find a Turk, you'll find somebody who is definitely not us selling us products behind some bulletproof glass and looking at us like we're animals, looking at us and treating us like we're animals. In our own country, in our own communities, selling us products that make us hate ourselves constantly, constantly. And this needs to stop. And it bothered me to no end that I went to Africa and saw the same exact thing. I'm going to continue reading. The other companies named in the litigation declined to comment or didn't respond to requests. The success of the legal claims will hinge on demonstrating the products were harmful and that the companies knew or should have known of the danger and failed to warn customers. But the cases face hurdles. In addition to the potential limitations of the NIH study, plaintiffs are suing multiple companies, and if women lack receipts, they may struggle to provide evidence that they use specific products. Ain't that a crazy thing? So they spent thousands and thousands of dollars and nobody kept their receipts. Of course, I don't even keep my receipts. But you know, my father always told me, son, you need to always keep your receipt. He would save receipts like crazy. Like, what is that compartment between the driver's side and the passenger side of the car? If you open up that thing in my dad's car, it's just piles and piles of receipts. I think he has a whole closet drawer just full of receipts, because I think my dad had that paranoia that existed in him as a black man. I need to always have an alibi to make sure I'm not considered a criminal or something like that. You get what I'm saying? My dad's a hardworking man, never spent a day in jail in his life or anything like that. But yeah, my dad had that same sort of mentality. Keep your receipt, son, so that you can always prove where you were. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading. So Krishna said, same thing for my mom. I don't know if he's talking about receipts or the loss of hair. But yeah, if you know a black woman in your life, if you're a black American at least, you know somebody who's got a burn on the back of their neck or head from a hot comb, or somebody whose hair is falling out after years of relaxer use. This is just common for our people. And it doesn't have to be that way, because I don't see white women getting their scalp torn up to get braids put in unless they go to Jamaica for a vacation. Meanwhile, our people consistently every single day kill ourselves, literally kill ourselves and hurt ourselves just to fit a white ideal and a white specific look. All right. Oh, receipts. He's talking about receipts. I went off just for no reason. Anyway, Ben Crump, who represented the family of George Floyd, the black man murdered by a Minneapolis police officer in 2020, and another lawyer, Deandra Fu DeBrose Zimmerman, filed the first hair relaxer lawsuit on behalf of a Missouri woman, Jenny Mitchell, shortly after the NIH study was published. Shout out to Ben Crump. There's a great documentary about Ben Crump, the black civil case attorney out of Florida, I believe. I think he's from Florida. Either way, there's a great documentary about Ben Crump on Netflix. You should check it out. A lot of people don't like him because they consider him an ambulance chaser, but that's the criticism that anybody has for a black person who's out there representing black people. And listen, we had our Johnny Cochrans, right? And we still have our Johnny Cochrans, our black attorneys who are going to fight the criminal cases to make sure innocent black men don't spend the rest of their lives in jail or don't get convicted of crimes wrongly. We have those guys. But we also need civil case attorneys like Ben Crump who are going to make sure that a police department that shoots a black man in the back or beats up some black woman or kid or child, right? They need to make sure that civilly those cases and those people get compensated for the money. That's so I'm rocking with Ben Crump, and I honestly have some positive ideas about him. So let's go here. We do not believe the science supports a link, Revlon, on the association between hair relaxers and cancer. Since then, more than 7,000 similar lawsuits have been filed by many plaintiffs' lawyers. The cases have been consolidated in a Chicago federal court as part of a multi-district litigation proceeding, MDL, a procedure designed to more efficiently manage lawsuits filed in multiple jurisdictions. Even though the legal claims asserted in the lawsuits don't allege racial discrimination, Crump says the cases should be viewed as essentially civil rights issues. For black women, it's projected on them that they have to live up to some kind of European standard of beauty. Crump, who represents plaintiffs in high profile racial discrimination cases and is a regular on cable news, said in an interview. Bush, aged 69, told Reuters about being mocked by the white children in the schoolyard of her St. Louis school for her cotton hair, a common derogatory term used for black hair texture. You felt as though you didn't belong, or you weren't as good as they were, said Bush, who was born in 1954, the year a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision found racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional. It's so sad, man, what black women have to go through and black men, because black men get stuff like, oh, can I touch your hair? Thank God I don't have my hair low key, because I don't have white people coming up asking, can they rub my head or can they touch my hair? But for black women and for women in general, once again, for me as a man, I'm very careful about talking about this because I don't want to come across as misogynistic or sexist or anything like that. But a lot of women's identity is tied into their hair and presenting of beauty and that sort of stuff. And so, for a lot of women with different hair textures, you have straight hair girls, curly hair girls, and of course, our black women with their natural 4C hair and that sort of stuff. How they present their hair and how they interact with the world uh, causes a lot of effects on how they'll be treated in the world. And unfortunately, as black people, because we rank so low on desirability because of systemic white supremacy that tells us that we are less attractive, ugly, and that sort of stuff. A lot of black women, possibly, and black men as well, have a lot of self hate and also a lot of internalized. Undesirability amongst themselves, right? And growing up, if you're a black kid going to an all white school or a predominantly white school, you're going to get those comments where people are tearing you down, where people are making fun of your skin tone, your texture of your hair, and that sort of stuff. And that's not cool, man. We have to protect our people, mentally protect our people, because so much of the terror that is inflicted upon us comes to us mentally. It's not even done most of the time physically. They're not hanging us from trees as much. They're still doing that. They're not shooting us in the back as much. But what they are doing is putting that radiation, that cancer, that poison in us that makes us hate ourselves. Insane. So the vast majority of the plaintiffs are women of color, according to Jane Conroy, a lawyer whose firm has filed at least 550 hair relaxer cases, adding that attorneys don't have full demographic data on the clients. So here's a piece, excerpt from a master complaint filed in the court proceedings consolidating the lawsuit. Plaintiffs' lawyers have sought to frame the litigation as a civil rights issue. We're going to read this piece right here. Rather than disclosing the risks and warning women and children, defendants exploited for profit this deep rooted connection between hair and identity and how they chose to market their hair relaxer products. Defendants' advertising and marketing of their hair relaxer products, and defendants' failures to take responsible and necessary steps to protect plaintiffs exposed plaintiffs to brutally toxic products without warning, and two, amplified institutionalized systems of discrimination that have minimized the cultural identity and heritage of women of African descent. Defendants advertised their hair relaxer products as inter alia, aka organic, safe, botanicals, natural, and ultra nourishing in newspapers, magazines, and media predominantly consumed by black and brown women. The advertisements, commercials, and packaging for defendants' hair relaxer products feature almost exclusively women of color with smooth hair texture. Yeah, it's so insane that on those boxes, like this. Let's look at one of these boxes. It says deep conditioning, anti breaking, no lie. There are also words in different languages here. But listen, advertising and how they market a product makes it seem like something that is meant to be. Healthy, right? Because you have the green and the yellows and the earth tones and that sort of stuff. There was a case, I can't remember exactly, but there was a case of a parent suing Nutella because the Nutella packaging makes it look like a healthy product, right? And I think she won that case, but y'all can look that up. And some people might say, oh, you should always read the fine print. You should always look at what is actually in our products and that sort of stuff. But yeah, the way they market it makes it look like something natural. They have olive oil in big letters, pictures of olive oil right here. Olive oil has a connotation of being something that's natural and more healthy. A lot of people say olive oil is the one oil that's actually good for you and that sort of stuff. And yeah, the way they market this product makes it seem more like a healthy product. And that can be misleading, I would say. And it's so sad that they market these products to black children. Oh, it's so sad to see that something like this can even exist on the shelves to be given to little black girls, making them think that their natural hair at a very young age is not okay. And then they title it African Pride, Dream Kids Olive Miracle No Lie Relaxer. Absolutely horrible. Everybody go to Amazon and give all these products 1 star. Give all of these things 1 star because it's absolutely horrible that they market it like this to our people and to our kids. Absolutely a shame. Absolutely a shame. All right, I'm going to continue reading here. A master complaint filed in the court proceeding consolidating the lawsuits features many examples of advertisements that plaintiffs contend improperly took advantage of historical racial discrimination. One L'Oreal ad touted how beautiful black hair can be. The complaint said, oh, that's embarrassing. How beautiful black hair can be, as if black hair isn't already beautiful. The complaint seeks unspecified damages. Framing the litigation as a civil rights issue could resonate with jurors beyond arguments over complex product liability claims, said Adam Zimmerman, a professor at the University of Southern California Gould School of Law who studies mass tort litigation. The cases come at a time when Black people are increasingly embracing natural hairstyles. At least 23 states have passed legislation aimed at protecting people from hair discrimination in the workplace and public schools. The U.S. House of Representatives passed similar legislation last year that stalled in the Senate. Absolutely, there has to be specific laws to protect Black women and Black men in general from hair discrimination. You know, what I really wanted to do when I was a kid, I really wanted to have braids. I wanted to have dreads. I wanted to do different styles with my hair. When I had my locks for about 4 or 5 years or so, one of my favorite things to do was to braid my locks. And I thought the style was so cool. I kind of knew that one day I was going to lose my hair. Because my father's bald, my grandfather is bald, and that sort of stuff. So I kind of saw that it was coming, right? And me and my brother are both, bald right now, just like our dad, right? Unfortunately, that's been passed down in the genes. But the fortunate thing about being Black, we can pull it off, right? But I'm still kind of upset that during the prime years I had my hair when I was 14, 15, 16, and that sort of stuff, I couldn't do it. Why? Because I went to a racist ass school in Louisiana called Neville High School, where Coach Rankins, big coon Coach Rankins, would walk down the hallway and grab Black boys by their hair and tell them, don't come back to school until you cut that off. And Mr. Vidrine, the principal, Even though he knew the school code did not allow for that sort of discrimination, he allowed it to continue to happen. And so I got robbed of my prime years of hair. I know that might seem petty. I know I might seem kind of bitter. I'm bitching and bickering like a bitter baby mama right now. But damn it, I wish I had my hair when I was 15, 16 and stuff like that. I had to keep a low cut Caesar and a fade the entire time. Moon cut the entire time. Had a little afro at certain points, but I never got to twist it up, lock it up, because the school I went to was hella racist. And imagine now if I just so happened to be born a black woman or something like that, and then I worked hard and I studied and I, got a good job and something like that. And now I have to put dirty, nasty chemicals in my hair to make me look like a white woman just so I can enter the office and not be discriminated against or told I'm not the right cultural fit by HR before I'm dismissed. Absolutely, absolutely insane that our people are going through this. We're living in the twilight zone. We're living in a twilight zone where black people have to literally almost kill themselves just to fit into white society. Ah, it's insane. So, the cases come at a time when black people are increasingly embracing natural hairstyles. Hairstyles. At least 23 states have passed legislation aimed at protecting people from hair discrimination in the workplace and public schools. The U.S. House of Representatives passed similar legislation last year that stalled in the Senate. So, twice as likely to develop cancer. Uterine cancer is the most common form of female reproductive system cancer and rising in the US, especially among black women, according to the NIH. The American Cancer Society estimates there will be about 66,000 new cases of uterine cancer diagnosed this year in the United States, less than a quarter of the number of 297,790 new cases of invasive breast cancer, and more than three times the 19,710 cases of ovarian cancer. The NIH study of more than 33,000 women found that those who reported using hair straightening products more than four times in the previous year were more than twice as likely to develop uterine cancer as those who did not. A total of 378 women in the study developed uterine cancer. Black women use the products more frequently than others, the study found. The researchers did not collect information on the ingredients of specific products the women used, the NIH said, but Dr. Alexandra White, the lead author, told Reuters in a response to written questions that hair straighteners have been found to include phthalates, parabens, cyclosilosexins, and metals. I cannot pronounce that. That's horrible. And may release formaldehyde when heated. She declined interview requests through a spokesperson. Absolutely crazy that those chemicals, if you heat them up, can release formaldehyde, which is definitely poisonous. Absolutely. So 4.05%, the percentage of women who frequently used hair straighteners and were predicted to develop uterine cancer by age 70, compared to 1.64% of women who never used hair straighteners. According to an October 2022 study by the National Institutes of Health, defendants have pointed to what they say are flaws in the study. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration plans to propose next April a rule that would ban formaldehyde and formaldehyde releasing chemicals from hair straightening products. Wow, that hasn't been done yet. Ain't nobody banned formaldehyde from hair straightening products. Like, come on. Come on, that should have been like, uh, are we serious? We live in a country where you can basically get away with anything until people start dying from it. Then that's when they say, okay, we got to make some rules now. No more formaldehyde in the hair products for black children. All right, guys, too many kids are developing cancer by the time they're 16. I think we need to stop the formaldehyde in the hair straightening products in the Dream Kids Olive Miracle hair relaxer. Jeez. Okay. An agency spokesperson provided no further details on timing. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogen and has been linked to nasopharyngeal. I can't pronounce that. Nasopharyngeal cancer, and leukemia, according to the World Health Organization. The NIH study said phthalates and other chemicals are suspected endocrine disruptors, which can interfere with the body's hormones and are suspected of contributing to cancer risk. Formaldehyde is not an ingredient in Namaste's hair relaxer products, the company's lawyer said. The other companies declined to comment, or nor did The other companies declined to comment or did not respond to a Reuters query on whether their products contain or release formaldehyde. Companies and defense lawyers have pointed to what they say are flaws in the NIH study. The companies named in the litigation asked the presiding judge in July to dismiss the lawsuits, noting that the study was the first to raise a possible association between hair straightening products and uterine cancer, undermining plaintiffs' arguments that the companies knew or should have known of any risks related to the products. I have to say this, even if they lose this civil lawsuit, even if the people who got uterine cancer don't get justice, even though I believe they should, I think we now as a people need to really start using our buying power to boycott products like this, or at the very least, use them at a more minimal rates and not promote their propagation throughout our community. We should not be giving, we should not be giving hair relaxer to kids. Nobody under 18 should be using a hair relaxer. If you use it after 18, that's at your own risk. But unfortunately, in our community, too many of our grandmothers, our mothers are infatuated with this style, and they want to make sure that their daughters get the best chance. And we also have to keep it real. Hair relaxer or hair straightening in the black community, a lot is tied to class. When we see a black woman with straight hair, unfortunately, there is the assumption that she is of more high class or more means. And that is because of the systemic white supremacy that we live under. Not that we naturally hate ourselves. It's just that we live in a system of white domination where the closer you are in proximity to whiteness, the more you are considered desirable, rich, and wealthy, and that sort of stuff. So, yes, growing up, at least in my school, right? The only black girls that had hair relaxer or straight hair, that sort of stuff, and going into university as well, were some of the more upper middle class, well to do black girls. You get what I'm saying? And so, yeah, a lot of our parents want to make sure that our kids have the best opportunity as black people living in a world where they hate us, right? And our opportunities are limited. But I think now is the time to embrace natural hair or different styles that do not incur us to put chemicals in our hair that will cause our children, our sisters, our brothers, our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers to lose their hair or to develop uterine cancer. Now is the time to actually sort of put this to bed. I know that black women have the autonomy, the ability to do whatever they want with their hair. And who am I, as a bald, ugly, fat black man living in Budapest, Hungary, to tell anybody what to do? I have no right to tell you what to do with your hair. But do we really want to see more of our sisters, more of our mothers, more of our daughters die of uterine cancer, of so many things that could be prevented if we just stop the self hate? If we stopped the self hate. It's literally killing us. So here's a picture. A box of hair straightening products used by 68-year-old Patrice Hester is shown in Bosnell, California, U.S., July 28th, 2023. Namaste, which markets ORS olive oil relaxers, said all ingredients in the products are approved for cosmetic use by U.S. regulators. So Avery Adams jumped into the chat. He said, "Hey, happy Saturday, all. Happy Saturday to you, Avery. Once again, thank you for your donations to the channel. You are much appreciated on this. Me and my wife are going to see Killers of the Flower Moon after this live chat. So yeah, please no spoilers, but we're going to possibly do a movie review on the Sunday live stream, Acti and I. I think that will be interesting, but y'all let us know what you want us to talk about for Sunday's live stream, because I honestly don't have an idea yet. So let's continue here. We're talking about black women getting cancer from hair relaxers, and they're filing a lawsuit against the companies that have done this, hopefully to get justice and a payout. The companies also noted that NIH study consisted of sisters of women previously diagnosed with breast cancer, who therefore may have a genetic predisposition. They said in a court filing, lead author White said in a statement in response to Reuters questions that there is currently no strong evidence linking family history of breast cancer to increased risk of uterine cancer. The plaintiffs rely entirely on vague allegations that the products generally contain quote unquote toxic chemicals. The company's defense lawyers at Paul, Weiss, Rifkin, and Garrison, Arnold and Porter, K. Scholar, that's a long law firm name. Not everybody needs to be a partner. Not everybody needs to be a partner at the law firm. Can we just have, Paul, Weiss, and Rifkin? That's fine. Anyway, and and Kay Scholler and other firms said in a court filing. Plaintiffs believe the NIH study will persuade the judge that at least some of the cases should proceed to trial. Plaintiffs can advance their cases without proving the products cause cancer, said Jennifer Hoekstra, a lawyer representing Bush. That's the woman who, lost her hair and got cancer to these hair relaxers. The study from a reputable government institution such as the NIH is likely enough to get cases before a jury, she said. So, an FDA rule proposal wouldn't alter the plaintiff's burden to prove they were harmed by the chemicals in hair relaxers, said Zimmerman, the USC law professor. But evidence regulators rely on to support a proposed rule would likely be admissible in court, he said, and FDA actions often draw lots of attention, thus increasing the numbers of people likely to participate in any mass litigation. So, yeah, they're saying that the report that they did, the study that they found the link between uterine cancer and hair relaxers, some people say it's not enough or that there's disputes with the report. Other people are saying that, the NIH is a reputable source, so they're able to take it in front of the court. I think the lawyers representing the women who got cancer should do their own sort of study, fund their own study, interview people, ask and research more, look at the data of women, Black women that have caught uterine cancer, ask them if they had hair relaxers or the family around them, if those women have passed on. They could do more research to validate their case. You get what I'm saying? So, in addition, the judge overseeing the litigation over the summer approved a so called short form complaint that makes it relatively easy for plaintiffs to file lawsuits. Since November last year, plaintiffs' lawyers have spent about $8 million airing more than 40,000 television ads across the U.S., with much of it concentrated in Baltimore, Houston, and Washington, D.C., according to an analysis of marketing data compiled for Reuters by Ex Ante, a firm that tracks mass tort advertising for large companies, law firms, and investment analysts. Lawyers seeking hair relaxer plaintiffs have posted on social media platforms and attended community events. Quiana Hester says she and her sisters, Ariana and Nakisha, have been interviewing lawyers and are weighing whether to join the litigation after seeing ads on social media from plaintiffs' law firms. So these are the two sisters here. I think they should take this case to court. They should join in. This is a fight, not just about, getting compensated. It's about holding companies accountable that push negative images to our people that literally cause them to hurt themselves and physiological, psychological, and have physiological and psychological damage. You get what I'm saying? I know a lot of people might be attracted to Black women with straight hair. They might find it aesthetically pleasing or beautiful, but the search for beauty should not be worth our life and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm going to jump into the comments. Avery says, I think this holds merit. Anything that you do to your body that is not natural will have side effects and consequences. This is the same with BBLs. If it ain't natural, don't do it. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a live stream about BBLs, if the BBL craze has gone too far, because so many Black people have died, traveling to different countries like the Dominican Republic, like Colombia, getting these BBLs and dying and that sort of stuff. So Kushner says, I got to go. Keep spreading the truth, Simon. Peace from England. Peace to you, Kushner, as well. Yeah, we're chopping it up about the chemicals in these products, man. We want to stop these companies from marketing these things to us that cause our sisters and our aunts to hurt themselves, right? So shout out to these two sisters. I hope y'all join the lawsuit. If I was a Black woman or if I had hair, I would join in too. The sisters said they wanted their mother's death last year. Following a battle with uterine cancer to mean something. Patrice Hester, a former real estate agent, regularly counseled her daughters that wearing natural hair would attract unwanted attention and harm their careers. She never wanted us to do anything to make us stand out or be a target, said Ariana, 35, who shared a home with her mother and sister, Nakisha, in the San Diego area. Bush, the St. Louis cosmetologist, joined the litigation in August. She said because of the possibility that hair relaxers cause cancer, if we find out that that's the case, she said, I would like to see the relaxers were taken completely off the market. Yeah, on one hand, I don't think they should be banned. I don't think they should be banned. I think just like cigarettes, right? Cigarettes, we don't ban them because people are going to do what they want to do, and we don't want to create a black market with even more dangerous products. So I don't think banning hair relaxers is the thing. But definitely, these these products should be marketed with like the same label or sticker that is on cigarettes. If you buy these products because you really want to look like a white woman or want natural black hair to look like Gabrielle Union, you get what I'm saying? Then on this should be slapped on, hey, using these products has an increased chance of uterine cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and that sort of stuff. These products are dangerous. They should not be bought by anybody over 18. Black people need to stop pushing these products onto our children, making our children think that this is the way that their hair should be like, and that our natural black, kinky, curly hair is bad. We need to stop doing that to our people. This is an internal problem that we have as a people. The chase, the desire to chase the white aesthetic and white standards of beauty is literally killing us and has been killing us. Y'all remember the first scene in Malcolm X when Malcolm X was putting the conch in his hair and it literally started to burn his head, and then he had to put his head in a toilet. That's the sort of stuff that we are doing to our people, embarrassing ourselves, making ourselves look bad, trying to chase a style that we will never have. And we shouldn't have, honestly, because our natural hair is way more beautiful, honestly. So yeah, I don't think banning these products should be the thing, but these companies need to be held responsible, and our people need to stop pushing this. We need to stop thinking that this is the ideal for success or for bouginess and that sort of stuff. I'm going to jump into the comments. Avery Adams says, it's like most women are trying to pull pieces from different cultures, like a build a woman workshop. I prefer black women with natural hair. And if these products aren't safe, we should know about it. Absolutely. We should know that these products are dangerous. They should make it known. And of course, I prefer black women with natural hair too. I prefer all black women, despite what their hair looks. But honestly, if I was to be in a relationship with a black woman, I would try to suggest that she go with her natural hair, honestly. And if she's not with that, then that might be a problem, honestly. That might get me canceled. I know somebody might clip that out of proportion, but listen, it's not because I want to dictate how she looks. It's because the products and the ways and methods of making black hair into other forms of hair is dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous, and I wouldn't want my woman, if she's a black woman, to be going through that sort of danger to fit an ideal that's not for her. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, of course, it's her choice. She's a grown ass woman and she can do what she wants to do. But I would try to say, let's try to embrace our natural blackness rather than do something else. But somebody's going to say, oh, Simon's a coon who loves white women. So they're going to disrespect what I got to say anyway. So who cares? Ozzy says, hello, Simon in chat. Keep building. Absolutely. Shout out to Ozzy. We're talking about natural hair, the relaxers, how it's killing black women, giving them cancer and that sort of stuff. So here are family photos of Patrice Hester, who died last year, age 68, after being diagnosed with uterine cancer. What a beautiful life she led. In most of her pictures, yeah, you can see that she had her hair relaxed. And listen, this is the style my mother had. But, my mother unfortunately used the relaxers too much, and now me and my mom got the same style, bald. It's a shame. It's a shame. No woman should have to lose their hair by their own, you know just from using products. You get what I'm saying? Other groups of people don't go through this, but the self-hate that we have as a people is causing this to happen, and it's absolutely horrible. We actually finished the article early. So I'm gonna wrap up this live stream now. I want to say shout out to everybody: Ozzy, Avery Adams, Krishna, Greg Mack. I hope you found this article interesting, informative, engaging, that sort of stuff. I am definitely doing a call-in show. I know I've been saying this for the longest, but I'm gonna be setting up the Zoom or the Skype or some program to do a call-in show. I want the people to call in to chat with me, that sort of stuff. And we're going to be doing that very, very soon. I promise I'm going to set that up. But thanks for everybody who's been tuning in, liking, sharing, subscribing. This is still a very small channel, and I'm still just figuring it out as we go. So we're going to see Killers of the Flower Moon. Stay tuned on this channel for the review. Possibly my wife and I will do. See y'all later. Daily live streams, daily video uploads, daily shorts, daily community posts. Stay locked in. My name's Simon Hill. Peace.